Hi guys, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're looking at, it doesn't flick open that well. The other one flicks open better. I've got two of these. I just got this guy today, and the blue one I have had for about 2 weeks now. This is called, at least on GearBest, simply the FURA, what's it called? Mini Folding Knife. The FURA Mini Folding Knife. Very simple name. I can't tell if this is a Serge Panchenko design or not. I've looked around his website, tried to look at some older archives of his knives. It really looks like something he would have made, and yet it feels like it's something he would have made, and I just can't find anything like this on his site. Oh well. That being said, thankfully there is no branding on here anywhere, so nobody's going to think that they're getting a knife from a person that's different or a company that's different than what it really is. Although I wish they would have put FURA's branding on it. You know, if you make the knife, put your branding on it. That's my way of thinking anyways. It's got a nice square shaped blade here. And I didn't notice it on the other one. This one's got a little clip point right at the top there. It's a square blade, titanium handle scales, frame lock, and the steel is M390. That's what they're claiming that it is. I've got no way to dispute that. I'm not a metallurgist. I don't have the equipment to test it or not. But the steel is quite good steel from the testing and cutting and things that I've done with it. So maybe it is M390. I really don't know. That being said, it has a price that makes it seem like it could be M390. It's not as low priced as one would think that a knife like this would be, you know, if it was just 8C or 13 MOV or something like that. But now I'm getting distracted. If you want to check out the review for this knife, I've got this one and a blue color. Please stick around for the full review. Hi guys, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we're taking a look at a knife by FURA. That's F-U-R-A. I got this knife from GearBest. I bought one of them, and they sent me one of them. I've got two of them. And it looks like a sort of Serge Panchenko kind of design, doesn't it? If anyone can tell me for sure, and send me links. Don't just say it. I really want to have, the evidence so that I can see it with my own eyes. Not that I disbelieve you. I just like having proof. I looked through Serge's website and through any archives of his website that I could find, and I can't find this design anywhere, but it sort of looks like his, style of stuff. What we've got is a blade that they say is M390 steel. I've got no way to dispute that. It does feel like and perform like a more premium steel, much better than, 8C or 13 MOV has. But we've got a stonewash blade, titanium frame lock scales, and, it's a nice action. It's a cool little knife. The other one I've had, this one I've had for 1 day. The other one I've had for a couple of weeks, and I can get it to flip open if I do that. This one's just going to need a little bit more time to wear in. So if you want to see a full review of this wee little knife, thanks for stopping in to Wee Wednesday. It's coming at you right now. So these knives by FURA come in this little case. A lot of their small knives come that way. It's little, tin with a little bit of a plastic window and then some, foam stuff inside there. And then you've got your knife inside. It's a little hard to see here with the way the lighting's working, but there you go. The knife is inside. And once you've got your knife, you're ready to start playing with it. Hopefully you've got enough light there so you can see what's going on. This is the light blue, and this is the gray. It's a little frame lock knife. Locks up very nicely. This one, I'm able to get it to flip open, if I do it just right. There we go. That one flipped open that time. You didn't quite see it because I had to pull back a ways. It takes an awful lot of wrist action. You don't have a lot of weight, like a pendulum from this fulcrum point for it to swing around. But, there you go. That's what the knife looks like. What I've done with these knives, on this one, I've added this little ring here, this split ring. because I tend to carry them with my keychain, and here's just a little sample of my keychain system. I have a ring, and then around the ring I've got these little carabiner clips, and I can clip whatever I want onto the carabiner clip, and there it is, ready for me to use when I want to use it. And then when I want to use what I've got on my clip, I just take it off, and then I use what I want to use. This happens to be just a little charger cable for anything electronic that I have, and it's easy to take off and use. And when I'm done using it, I just clip it back onto my keychain. That way I don't have to hold my whole pile of keys while I'm using the item. And so I like this system an awful lot. I'll put links in the description below so that you can buy your own, D-rings and system like this from GearBest. It's a very inexpensive way to carry your knives and your other equipment and stuff. I usually carry something to make fire, something to cut, just a few different kinds of a whistle, all kinds of little things that you might want to be able to have on your person in case of an emergency or something. I couldn't get the split rings to work very well to go through both of the holes right here. It doesn't work very good for 550 paracord unless you use just the shell, take out all the strands from the inside of your 550 paracord. You could make a lanyard out of that. Open pillar construction, you've got these nice little hourglass shaped pillars right there. Hopefully it'll focus on these. Those standoffs, they work really well. All Torx construction, so that's a good thing, easy to use, except for the pivot. The pivot's got this X on it. So what works really well there is just using a small standard screwdriver, a flat screwdriver. Just forget the fact that it goes both ways. Just a small flat screwdriver that fits in the whole width or most of the width, and then you're safe to go. If it's too narrow, not wide enough, then you're going to end up having troubles and you're going to mess up your pivot. But otherwise, it's not that hard to adjust this pivot if you want to. And later on in the video, I'll show you still pictures of the inside of this knife. Does it have ball bearings or does it have washers? You can hear that nice click with this frame lock. Frame lock works very good. You look up the lock, see the lockup on this one. There you go. The lockup on this one's quite good. And the lockup on this one is even a little bit earlier than the gray one. Lots of room for wear for that to go across. It's a cool little knife. And then they've got this little chamfered out area right there for you to unlock the knife, push your thumb over. There's nothing to stop you from hyperextending that lock, so you have to be careful that you don't push the frame lock too far and break it right there. You've got a knife that you can do all kinds of little cuts with. You've got a very sharp corner right here, and you've got mostly a flat area here and mostly a flat area here, and you've got a sort of a saber grind, a short flat grind, or whatever you want to call it. Let's give you all the dimensions, and then we'll keep talking about what I like and don't like about this. First off, the steel I mentioned in the opening, M390 steel, that has a Rockwell hardness, anywhere between 58 and 62. And this is a hard steel from, what I've been doing with it and testing it out and checking it out and stuff. I'll be doing my cut tests with this one because it's the knife that just arrived yesterday. So I haven't used it for anything else. So you'll see what it's like straight out of the box. And then this is the knife where I practiced sharpening to see how easily it would sharpen or not. It is a harder steel than, your 8CR13 MOV. It doesn't sharpen as easily as those do. And the edge lasts longer than an 8CR13 MOV kind of steel or similar budget steels do. There is no pocket clip on this knife, just that lanyard hole. And let's do the dimensions. What's the cutting edge? Well, the cutting edge is 2.3 centimeters by 2.3 centimeters. So I usually measure from, the sharpener's choil to the tip of the steel, and that's here, or is that here? I could measure diagonally across, but that doesn't seem right. So what we've got is 2.3 centimeters on this edge, 2.3 centimeters on that edge. 0.9 of an inch, 0.9 of an inch, so 1.8 inches, or 4.6 centimeters. Kind of strange. The blade length, that's usually measured from, the end of the handle, the furthest part of the handle, to the furthest point on the knife. And the furthest point on the knife is, if you measure, from the middle here to the end there, you're looking at 2.5 centimeters, 1.1 inches, across that way. It's definitely in under your 3-inch limit, that's for sure. The blade thickness, the blade steel that we've got here is 3 millimeters thick. That's 0.12 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, it's quite robust. It's 0.84 millimeters. That's 0.033 of an inch. So it's pretty heavy there. A thick, sturdy piece of steel for sure. The length of the handle is 4.8 centimeters, 1.9 inches. Your grip area, and that's, end of the curve. So the length of this flat area back here, or better said, the length of this flat area on this side, but you're probably gripping on that side. Well, you're gripping on both sides, actually. The grip area, 3.6 centimeters, 1.4 inches. The handle thickness, the thickness of this is just under 1 centimeter, 0.397 of an inch, 0.4 of an inch, whatever you want to call it. The length of the knife when it's got the blade deployed, so the longest you can measure it from the middle of the handle to the middle of the blade here, 7.1 centimeters, 2.8 inches. And the weight of one of these is 43 grams, 1.5 ounces. How much do you expect to pay for this knife? Well, you might want to pay just a tiny bit of money because it's small, but the price does reflect that it probably is M390 steel because they're asking $28.80 US plus $239 US for shipping. That's $39.69 Canadian plus $329 shipping. So you're looking at $43 Canadian for this knife. 31 US or 43 Canadian. So it's not an super inexpensive knife, but it's not crazy expensive either. If you want a knife that has M390 steel, well, hey, here's your shot at getting one that's not going to cost you $150 to $200, $300. Unique features. It's certainly got a unique blade shape. That sharp point right there is very effective at cutting, for slicing small things, that way. It just really cuts through just about anything you want to. This proprietary screw looks kind of cool, and yet it's a screw that you can actually use with any flat screw, not any flat screwdriver, but you can use a flat screwdriver to adjust that pivot if you need to. You've got the CNC machining that these handle scales are made from, and it's done very well. That is titanium. Well, it certainly is non-ferrous. They are saying this is TC4 titanium. The detent is quite good. When the knife is, closed, you heard that suck in there. So it's a good detent. It holds it closed when it's supposed to be closed. It's a little bit hard to flip open unless you adjust that pivot, to make it a little bit looser, but there's no blade play up and down, back and forth at all on either one of these when it's open. It's rock solid when it's deployed. You've got a little sharpener's choil. It's got all the little touches that you're looking for. What are the negatives? Well, it's hard to flip open. This one, I've got it to be able to flip open if I do a great big arm movement, usually. There we go. You have to trust me that it flipped open. You sort of heard it, but I don't want to knock my apparatus around, my camera and stuff. There we go. I did it again that time. I can usually get it when I'm standing up, walking around. Not a problem. I've gotten used to it. It's a cool little knife. It's something special. It's unique. It's not what everybody else has, but almost anybody can get one of these because the price is certainly affordable. I like this knife. What do you think? What are your questions? What are your comments? Do you think this is a stupid thing to buy? Is it silly? Is it crazy? Is it terribly functional? No. But it is a little bit of a collector's item in a lot of ways. It's certainly not a knife that you're going to get to be your main EDC knife, although it can do probably 95% of your EDC tasks, because what most people do with their knives is open packages, urban EDC anyways. Outdoors EDC, that's a totally different scenario. But, it's a cool little knife. It even does have, you can see on both of them, they do have that tiny little clip point right there. This blue one has a much smaller clip point than the gray one, but it's there. It's a very interesting knife. I'd love to hear your questions and your comments and what you think about this knife and whatever you have. Mind you, I am on vacation this summer. I'm spending July and August either camping for a week and a half, and then the rest of the summer I'll be in southwestern Ontario with my wife, and we'll be visiting family, especially visiting my sick mother. I'm only going to be doing 2 or 3 videos a week, and some of these videos are the ones that are going to be playing while we're gone. I'm pre-recording these and editing them, and then they'll be played during the summertime. So I might not be answering your comments immediately, but I'll try to do that on occasion this summertime, try to catch up with the comments. I like to respond to every single comment at least once. I don't always get to reply to the responses, as it gets a longer conversation, but I try. And if you would like to help fund my mother's medical expenses, I thank you for that. You can give through PayPal. I've got a link in the description below. Or you can even just mail a check. You can just email me at canadiancuttingedge@gmail.com and help out how you can. If you're financially tight and strapped, don't give. Please don't give if you just can't afford to give. I don't want that kind of I don't want that kind of pressure. I don't want that sense that people are giving out of obligation or anything like that. If you've got some money that you'd like to help out with, thank you so much. There are some treatments that just aren't covered by insurance and things, and so we just need a little bit of help. My parents are immigrants and they've lived in poverty their whole lives. Whoa, I'm knocking the camera around. And so us, their children, are trying to help them out, and I'm on disability myself, so it's hard for me to help out. And we're doing the best we can. Thank you so very much for watching, for liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, all that other wonderful stuff. And remember, always cut towards your chum. That's Old English for friend, and not your thumb.